And we want you to know that this year again, ABC's the one. Still the one from LA to New York. Still the one. Still having fun. 'Cause we're still the one. Someone special's waiting for you. Still the one for Shirley and the Bird. Still the one for whatever ails. Still the one for those happy days. Still the one in so many ways. Really alive. Still the one as the 80s arrive. 'Cause we're still the
Chum. Hello, we're back. It's a continuation, it's a sequel. So we have a little bit of classical music with our color bars because that's what I remember ABC doing as far back as maybe when I was 6, 7, or 8 years old. We're gonna show some new programming. Um, we got some new stuff. Some things I forgot to show you, but we are definitely gonna show some commercials. And unlike other YouTubers or Twitch streamers that show commercial reactions, I do understand the political incorrectness of these times. You know, people were a little more honest about their weird feelings toward other people, and however misogynist or toxic their feelings were, passive aggressive, it just shows up in commercials. It's just the way it was. I think some of it's funny. I am a little bit taken back nowadays from a 2023 perspective, but that's just how it is. And so as we look at this color bar and we're waiting for the first show, which will be the world's greatest Super Friends, another Super Friends show. Um, what are the toys I had? I was about 1 years old. I was learning how to walk and say mama and papa, learning how to talk. What were the toys I had at the time? Stuffed animals and lots of them. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start with the world's greatest Super Friends.
Super Friends, Batman and Robin. Superman wins to protect the universe from the forces of evil. The Super Friends. And peace for all mankind. The world's greatest Super Friends.
Yes, indeed. Now, obviously, I was too little to remember exactly this. There would be reruns on KCOP 13 when I couldn't find this on ABC 7. I remember the one where I was kind of terrified, where they all turned to monsters, Jan and Zaina, and all. They turned to these huge monsters for no real reason. I don't know what that was about. So there are the Wonder Twins and Gleek. They replaced Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog in 1970, the middle of the 70s. And this was, come on, move this. So there would be Super Friends 1980, and there would be a couple of other things until we got to the Galactic Guardians and, the very, very end of the Super Friends run from 73 to 86. But it was just weird. I mean, like I said, I've said so much about it last time that it's more the same. It's more the same stuff. You know what? I didn't tell this before, but when we had just home pages, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Twitter, we barely had MySpace, and I think we had collegeclub.com. So if you wanted to know stuff, you go to like Progressive Boink or somebody's homepage with lots of QuickTime videos and pictures like this, okay? And you would see what I would do is I would look up all the plot summaries of each and every episode of all the series, because it was just. Aren't you ever curious about the year you were born, or maybe just before you were born, the things you thought you saw when you were a child, and you thought you saw this, but it was that, and that's how I was trying to do it. I was trying to figure out what all these things were, and I knew they were all together. Was it DC Comics or was it Hanna-Barbera? It felt like a lot of different things, and I think that was my whole world. So there's not much left to show. This is the screen capture here. They kind of use that sort of superpowers team. This is all on DVD. I would like to get probably the last season where Adam West was Batman. We'll go more into that later. This is the Wendy and Marvin, and here's where everybody turns into fire, and Superman's got to do something. We must put out the fire. I don't know who these guys are. Are they new Super Friends? Who are they? We must do something. Oh, here's a weird one. This is where they all turn to creatures. Um, they had bizarre episodes like this where it was very, yes, let us be friends. I don't know what this is. What is that about? What is with all that? Okay. Well, I think, rub 3 times for disaster. That could be Mixie-Spitalik or Mixie-Plick. You know, Superman, I'm Mixie-Plick. That's when I think, I'm not sure if that was Frank Welker who did the voice. Might have been. We're looking for clues. I don't know what this is. This is like some parody of Super Friends. So let's go ahead and go into some commercials, yeah?
Is looking good. Roy and Dale, 7:30 Monday night.
We'll watch about 3 of these. Popeye Hour. This is the Popeye Hour. So this is before Popeye and Son. But the ones I remember, obviously, were the ones from the 1960s. So those were fun. I used to watch the Popeye cartoons from the early days. So these are not the ABC. I can't find the ABC separately. When is it going to be in public domain?
Just in time for my magic hat.
Ah, yes. Now this is not the 2000s Burger King. Wake up with the King. Remember that?
Change it to fries. I doubt it.
I still have the Sneak King, the game for the Xbox 360.
Okay, you're safe. Whoa! I love food that's fun. I doubt it.
It's trying to do like Ronald McDonald and they were trying to compete with the McDonald and Friends.
There's a brand new bubblegum in town.
Oh yes, I remember when they mixed Western with bubblegum. Yes, and I would see this in comic book advertisements. I barely remember any of this. It's silly, but that's the way it was. Yes, these were old cowboy stars from television and film. One more commercial. Then we're going to get to... Oh. the old... Not exactly the old Popeye. Now, they used a chocolate elephant for the Cocoa Krispies before they decided, let's just cut corners. Snap, Crackle, and Pop will do all the advertising. But then they did use a chimpanzee for the next one.
That's right. Even the milk turns chocolate.
Like, I kind of remember this guy, but not really.
Including Kellogg's Cocoa Krispy cereal.
You know, Tess, Cocoa Krispies are good.
Okay, and now it's time for the Plastic Man Comedy Hour.
Spring, he can stretch and change his shape. And he can even dance. There's bad luck hula. Caveman!
Show starring the longest arm, the world's ugliest dog, Yuck, and the wiliest cat ever to nab a rocket through the future with Plaz, wife Penny, and baby Plaz. It's the oddity. More mysteries with this werewolf of them all. The money in the world captures the strangest assortment of criminals ever seen. It's the play.
So anyway, Chief, just a second.
Yeah, this is the only time we see live-action Plastic Man. He's lost in thought. So I actually don't remember this from the Saturday mornings, but from KCOP 13 reruns. You know, my memory can only go back so far, but everything seemed very familiar to me. Even that Hubba Bubba commercial. And that, so the guy that does the voice of Plastic Man is the one that does the voice of Pac-Man. And that's She-Ra, that's Melendi Britt, who does the voice of Penny, and they have a child Plaz baby. And I remember this show and Fang Face, which I showed last time. Mighty Man and Yuck. The dog was so hideous, so whenever he pulled the house over his head, I don't know why he had a stupid house, but whenever he removed the house, the whole room would shake. And this guy turns into a little superhero. He goes, "Vroom, vroom, 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 vroom." I don't know what that's about. It's stuff I remember. And this stuff reran on USA Network, the USA Cartoon Express, which Andre the Black Nerd remembers, and I remember this when I was like 12 years old. And then there was Dingbat Dog, to which I know very little, and of course Heathcliff, Heathcliff, no one should terrorize the neighborhood. That's the Deke theme, not the Ken and Ruby Spears. These are Ken and Ruby Spears stuff. But I'm pretty sure Plastic Man was in the hands of Warner Brothers. I just wrote a comment with that video on YouTube. Where is it? Where you see the live action Plastic Man. I'm like, let's see a live action Plastic Man movie. And Warner Brothers is like, you just hear crickets. They don't do anything. James Gunn's got all the great ideas. Let's see if that's true. I mean, he didn't want to do Superman. But anyway, yeah. All these cartoons I do remember fondly on KCOP 13. And they showed these cartoons not too many years when this stopped airing on Saturday mornings. So I have a long memory of this stuff. And now let's see a little Schoolhouse Rock. Yep, this is the Grammar Rock. That's my favorite part of this. There's one of these things. I mean, it's really fun to watch these along with like all of these types of cartoons. As we move toward the 90s, these kind of feel more and more out of place. I mean, they made some 90s ones with saving money, but Eek. Rats. Wow. I mean, the music was really catchy. That was the thing. You could hum these tunes. Sometimes you learn more from your real teachers in school. But I was too little, so I didn't start school, of course. Hooray, in front of the other team. And yes, they made fun of this in American Dad. Don't. But not for us. We got some commercials. I remember my first Crayolas, they had 8 colors, right? And I think that's all we really had access to were like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, brown, black. As far as I could tell. I mean, I'm sure they used to have 4 colors in a box. Then they went to 8, then 16. But I also remember the 64 colors back in the mid to late 80s. I have the glow-in-the-dark crayons as well. There were so many like variations of famous products that came and went. Oh, it's Popeye again. What's he doing? So I remember the 50s and 60s Popeye, and very little of the 40s version. Popeye and the Pests. Well. Oh, shit. This was always the thing. Don't play with matches. What is this? Cereal? Dental. Oh, this is Crest. Yes. This stupid thing. Oh my god. This is like the superhero, like Jack Kirby stuff. I don't know if Jack Kirby did this. It looks like Jack Kirby stuff. Oh my god. More Star Wars, right? What is this? Oh, this had to be advertising the movie and still in theaters. Not the special edition, but the regular one. No enhancements. Aha, still in theaters. Now for something else. Let's see what else we have. Look at the bee. Haha. The poor sod is crying. Probably is because most people hate him. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. I remember watching the movie in 1999 and made Scrappy the bad guy for no. He was obnoxious for no reason. Now I remember the voice actor for the original voice actor for Scrappy. He did the voice of Joker with the whole Batman and Robin special guest star crossover. But of course, Don Messick did the voice of Scrappy for the next I would say 8 years. So you had Scrappy Doo for about 8 years. And then they had a pup named Scooby-Doo, and Scrappy was completely forgotten. It was just, I guess, to get the kids to watch the show more, because, of course, it was like, you had about 9 to 10 years of Scooby-Doo. So for the 10th anniversary, let's just give him a nephew. I have a little figure from Burger King where he just punches and shit. Um, There's Scooby going off. He's always hungry. The first season had everyone. They had Fred and Velma and Daphne, and then the later ones just had Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy, and they just had some weird Flintstones. It's just like Three Stooges adventures. But of course, this was also rerun on KCOP 13 with, all the episodes of Scooby Doo. So, like, if you were sick home from school, you get to watch some of these. So I do remember when I was sick from like the first or second grade or so. Oh, they would have these all the time. So these are the credits of everyone. Some of these I remember from Laugh Olympics. Listen to that. There's more of the gum commercial. I don't know if I think Bonkers did the same shit. It's like character acting for bubblegum. And Hostess Twinkies. Hubba Bubba, yep, I sure remember that. In the news. Oh yeah, this is when, like, everything, like in a studio, everything had a nice kind of like very 60 frames per second look, and then everything looked like 24 frames per second outside with all the crackles and pops of film. Oh yeah, it sucks. I don't think it ever is. Ice skating is. Yeah. That sucks. Amazing. I mean, whether you're skating on ice or you're skating on wheels, I mean, there's a certain skill.
Some of these super skaters are graceful and talented, like Olympic ice skaters. And like the best of them, roller skaters take a few spills.
Yep. You could take a few spills doing anything. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, you can't trust the Olympics anyway. You can't. It's like we have the most medals, everybody else doesn't. That's just how it is. But I do like the red, white, and blue American, like bell-bottom looking outfits and everything. Everybody's got like the most patriotic shit. And now, let's look at Spider-Woman. Oh yeah. Now I think this was first on ABC before NBC. And I do remember this, obviously there was a 1960s Spider-Man that was the first Spider-Man, right? From the 60s era. And then there was a 70s Spider-Man who knew this Spider-Woman. And when is Sony gonna touch this version? Because it's mostly on Sony that it is on Disney to do this. She does everything and anything. Spider-Woman. There she is with her amazing powers. Or she'll do it in a bit, I think. There she's leaping. She leaps through the air. So there were a lot of cartoons. I remember mostly with Marvel. I remember them from the 60s and then these ones from the 70s. So there was this one. And I think they all moved to NBC. Hulk. The Incredible Hulk. Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. But I think that one, Spider-Man soon became Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That one I remembered. She's still stuck in limbo there. She's a little sensual. I forgot who did the voice of this. I don't remember much about this cartoon except there was Spider-Woman. All right, let's take a look at one of the characters or groups of characters from Laugh Olympics, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. Yeah, this is not done by what's his name? Oh, there's the Teen Angels. Of course, Dee Dee's the one in charge, just like in Scoob, right? Tracy Morgan's not doing the voice; it's Mel Blanc. That's the Laugh Olympics music there.
And the walls are closing in. We're doomed.
There is Taffy. Everything seems to work out all right because Captain Caveman always does what he's supposed to do. All I can really say, because obviously, I'm trying to remember now, because Dee Dee did, who was the leader of the Teen Angels, did return for Scoob, and I think it was Mark Wahlberg who did the voice of Blue Falcon, and I can't remember who is playing Iris West in who was. I'm not sure if she's in the Flash movie. I hope she is. But she did the voice. And we got the other, I like Taffy the most, I think. They're all gorgeous. Like this, it's basically Charlie's Angels. And Captain Caveman, I remember from Wacky Races, but most importantly, the Flintstones. I used to have VHS tapes of the 70s Flintstones comedy shows. They used to have 70s versions of the Flintstones because I think they were trying to make it more for kids. Like they got away from the cigarette stuff and the adult aspects, and they made the Flintstones for kids, and then you had Captain Caveman who spun off from the Flintstones, right? He was always an ice. They didn't say Fred until like later on in the Adventures of Billy, Grim, Billy, and Mandy, or whatever it was. Anyway, one more thing to show you, I think. I think that might be the ABC Weekend Special, and then American Bandstand. Ah, that groovy 70s music right there. Oh yeah, that 1970s adventure right there. Pick up a book, everyone. So this is the girl with ESP. We're just gonna like skip through all this. But this was ABC Weekend Specials. So all of these are based on a novel or recent books, or as during that time, maybe the 1960s or 70s. You know, some of them you have like Treasure Island or Sherlock Holmes or Robinson Crusoe, or maybe I doubt Lord of the Flies. Though I do like Lord of the Flies. There's a whole thing about that I was reading somewhere before. But so the mascot for this is a big orange and white, like 5 foot tall cat called Captain O.G. Reedmore, and he looked like a cereal box mascot. You know, he had the captain's hat, he had a scarf, and he had a cane, and he just plopped down in front of books. And there would be some more promos for ABC later on. Hunk of Cheese, Wagon Wheel, and there was like the computer foxes. We'll get into those later, but oh yeah, she has magic powers. I remember Encyclopedia Brown, Harriet the Spy. There was some weird books I read in school. And they reran some of the 70s stuff into the early to mid 80s. I don't know, whatever could pass for quote unquote new material. But once we got to the 90s, eventually, I mean, once you got to the One Saturday Morning, it was done with O.G. Reedmore and all that stuff. It's all about whatever, because once Disney had full control of ABC, it was like, whatever. Kind of reminds me of, what is it? Clint Howard. When Clint Howard was like 12 or 13, he could predict the future, and that was like one of the Night Gallery episodes. So it's kind of like this. She has these powers. She's the fire starter. I think they were trying to go for a fire starter and shit. What is this all about? Oh yes, the long dream sequences that they would do. They used to do a lot of things, like you had amnesia, you change minds to someone else. Like, so you're in this person's body and that person's in your body. Or there would be the imposter with a cheap rubber mask and they look exactly like the other person. Like they would have these ones, or when you tore the face off, you have these ugly robot face. You know, there's just so much drama pacing points here. It's just little things like this. Oh, she's under arrest? Okay, well, we better skedaddle here. And let's look at the last of the 70s commercials. Oh, yes, Mighty Mouse. I saw very little of this stuff. The old school stuff. What do we got? More Popeye? Kids. Oh, yes, Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah, this is one of those, like the little rascals of the 70s, right? They go into adventure. This is like ABC Weekend Special here. We're kids going on an adventure. Yep, remember all this. This all feels familiar to me. It's still corny as shit. And then you got the funny dog. Whatever. There you go. This is where we care about the people. Oh my god. Whoa, Future Time. That's it. I remember the original 70s NBC logo. I do remember this kind of stuff, but it's in the back of my mind. Ice cream. Aha! McDonald Land character. So, yeah, Burger King was trying to do the same thing that McDonald's would do all the time. Remember when they stole Sid and Marty Krofft's ideas? They said, "Oh, we can't use your stuff, but we'll keep your blueprints for our refrigerator. We'll tack it on our refrigerator. Don't worry about it. It's cool." And then they took the ideas and stole them, and they sued for decades, and they finally got their justice. You can't just do that. You can't steal ideas by firing the people, taking the blueprints, and then not paying them. That's stealing. Stealing. Anyway, but after that, I mean, I love the characters. Grimace would try to take the milkshakes. Hamburglar would steal the hamburgers. I think Hamburglar's in a new fucking commercial, isn't he? And Grimace supports Donald Trump. He's a Trump supporter. Did you know that? Grimace is a Trump supporter. It's true. Oh my god, some weird cartoons. Oh, the 80s feel. More Star Wars. Oh, guy, I knew it, Captain Crunch. And this is Dawes Butler, Captain Crunch. Crunch-a-dice. That's another actor. Hey. Oh, a diving. You used to get these kinds of toys. Now you don't get shit. You don't get nothing. Remember Cracker Jack prizes? They used to be like this. You don't get nothing. Oh, get some baking powder. And what is this one? Hush Puppies. Yeah, I never wore them. I don't think I ever wore them. I had a hard time with laces, so I used Velcro for most of my... Well, the first 8 years of my life. Embarrassing. We had a dog like this. I hate that. I hated that dog. Terrible dog. Johnny Quest. You can't go wrong with Johnny. No, you can't. Now, we used to have a lot... There were a lot of promos for board games through the end of the 80s, because once the Nintendo got really popular, they stopped focusing on this stuff. Not the bubble gum, but Bonkers the board game. Just like Chutes and Ladders. I wonder if Toy Addict Raiders guy, there's a YouTuber who reviews board games. I'm sure he would review this and tear it apart. Dancing. Cracker Jacks! There we go! Don't hurt yourself. There we go. Whoa! I think of The Simpsons where the guy broke his leg and the guy's like, ow. Let's see the prize. What's the prize? Show us the prize. God damn it. Anyway. Let's see how far we are. Oh yeah, I love this stuff. Where's the live action version of this? You think there should be one? Or would they think that where a kid wearing a turban is racist? I mean, come on. The turban is symbolic. Respect the cultures. I think this is okay. There's no problem with that. What's wrong with the live action Johnny Quest? Yeah, the Bandstand. There's Dick Clark, just years before he would do the $25,000 pyramid. Look at all the groovy ways people are dancing. Look at this. And now they're like they hit so many walls that you see these people can't, like, they walk the way they my god, they got that fat beer gut, that fat beer belly. And you look at these people like, that's my parents? Holy shit. You'd almost have an Oedipus complex. Like, those are my parents? Why do they look so different? I see fat grandma, and then she tells me, "Oh, I used to do this stuff." But then you sounded like this, and now
You sound like this. I used to do disco.
there was some Q&A that also Dick Clark would do, and he would talk in the audience, and then there would be some celebrities. We still use records. I was thinking of John Arbuckle when you took Garfield to the mall, and nobody knew what a record was, but they knew what a compact disc was. Looks like Ursa. Oh yeah, fool around the world in love. That's kind of cool. So they would have guest stars. Oh no, it's I don't even know how. Okay, let's conclude this. Well, I hope you had as much fun going through this as I did. I really, some of this stuff feels familiar. Some of this is corny. I really enjoyed this. There are the knobs. We don't need a pair of pliers to turn off the TV. And this is a Panasonic. I know we had TVs. We had the black and white TVs in the house and one color TV. It was an amazing experience. And in some ways, I missed that, along with Fedco and Gemco and the Federated Group and uh, Burke's Jewelers, Safeways. We used to have Music Plus. We used to have so many things, and they're gone. Um, Timeout Arcade from the early 80s with all the colorful carpeting and shit. Such a different time. It's gone. You know what I mean? It's not there. We can't go back, but we could like pretend that the 80s stagnated, can't we? We could just have like you could just like take 5-inch floppy disks and make like colorful art and put them on your walls, like red and blue ones. Just paint them different color. Make a mosaic. Make a mosaic out of 5-inch floppy disks. Make a nice picture. Okay. Anyway, this video is good enough for you. You see those buttons below. You know what to do. And stay tuned. Maybe we'll have a 1980 Saturday morning. Let's see how different the cartoons are then.